So, match control. In the chat, please, what does this term mean to you? Because we hear it all the time when we referee. We hear it all the time. If you're going for promotion, I know we've got some observers here tonight, is they get to use that term. I'm an observer and I have to mark people as a competency on their match control. But what does it actually mean to you as an official or an observer? So first one in from Paul, it controls the players during that match. Keeping the game running without any issues. Keeping the game temperature down to a level, ensuring the player safety isn't jeopardised because it has got out of control. Okay. Chris, I know you're in the background there, but Chris, feel free to join in with any of these if you want to.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. Thank you.
Managing 22 players in line with laws and safety of others. Recognising fouls, challenges and responding correctly to them. Stamping out any dissent. So based on what you've put then, give me some techniques that you use then to demonstrate your match control. And Nick, straight in with communication, being proactive. How much you can keep the game in control. If you need to give every little thing, then do. So if I'm going to do that, so if they've been good, then they can let the game flow. And metaphor, dog on a leash. Empathy, nice word, Paul. Verbal empathy and understanding the game and the intentions of players, proactive, not reactive. Banter at the right time. Being alert. Setting out expectations before the game. Okay, thank you very much. If there's any others, just put them in and we'll catch up on that. So everyone has got, there's not many there that are similar. Being professional, Nick, being firm when you need to be. Okay, so we've all got a bit of a different view on not only the term match control, but some of the techniques that you use to get you through a game. So let's talk about some of these then, some of the ones I've put together. And this is what we teach the learners on the courses as well. See if any of these, and please, I say, just unmute, come in, happy to be challenged on anything, and we can talk and discuss stuff. So match control for me is not actually just about the game, okay? Checking the team sheets, emphasising the correct equipment, and even the respect handshake, for me, starts that match control process. And when we talk about perception and what they're thinking of you, is if you're a person that's like, can I see the team sheets? If the team sheets have got to be in half hour before kickoff, 15 minutes, an hour, to me, you're starting your match control already. Okay? When you're standing there and you're checking equipment, those players have got a perception of you. If you're saying, can't wear that, you've got to take your jewellery out and things like that. Okay, and even the respect handshake, and there's a lot of, I help out on my Sunday league games sometimes. I make them do the respect handshake because it's the competition rule requirement. And the amount of times they say to me, you're the only ref that's doing this, all the others are not bothering. Okay, so they've already got a perception of me as a referee, whether they think I'm being a bit busy or they're thinking this referee we know is going to do a proper job today. Okay, does that make sense, everyone? Yeah?
Yeah.
So the next one. How many of you here tonight introduce yourself to the managers and their assistants? that means, you know, before kickoff, going over saying hello, your name, because in my experience, I often don't see the managers and their assistants. They'll send the secretary in to speak to me, and I won't even see them. Okay, because it's a good opportunity then to remind them on the technical area protocol. Yeah. And to work with you and your neutral assistants during that game, if you've got neutral assistants. Okay, match control. So if we're saying, and some of you did, about your communication, there's some examples there of good communication. And yet, we've not even kicked a ball yet. A loud whistle to call the captains in for the introductions and the coin toss. And this is something on the tutor courses that we get the learners to do, because a low, weak whistle, believe it or not, and I played the game up until the age of 49, gives me a perception of that referee if they mean business. A weak whistle throughout the game tells me that referee is not confident, and it's just a perception. Okay, use of body language, exchanging first names with the captains when you're standing there. My name is, what is your name? Write it in your book. Okay, and then emphasizing to them that challenging you don't mind them challenging your decisions, but it's got to be in a respectful manner, and remind them of the Simbin protocol if it's in operation in your leagues. Okay, and then when you're doing if you're doing your team briefs to your neutral assistants, is get them to communicate with the left back and the right winger, take their names and talk to them throughout the game. So when that left back picks up the ball to take a throw and they're far away up the pitch, you can call them back. And if it was me, go, Lee, come back a little bit. Yeah, that's fine, Lee, that's great. And it gets them, yeah, that sort of like, it humanises you and them, that you're all there for the same reason. And use these throughout the game, especially on challenges, throw-ins and other incidents. All right, everyone, anyone want to come in with anything? Or are you okay so far? Now, what was really good in the chat as well about techniques you use is being proactive during open play. Okay, and I'm a firm believer in proactive refereeing, okay, not reactive. So when we talk about proactive during open play, players challenging, going next to each other, you're saying to them, arms down, no fouls. And if they're both tussling for the ball and they both want a foul, you are both doing it. Also, add some well dones and praise for those showing fair play, because I don't think we do that enough to players. Okay, if they've gone in for a fair challenge, both of them, they both get up, shake each other's hands, get on with the game. Why not tell them, well done, guys? Okay. And that word being empathetic, which, as you know, means sharing the feelings of another in your explanations. So if they want an explanation on the decision you've given, be empathetic on what they're asking you. And when we say that, if they're saying you've got to be joking, that weren't a foul, from my position, from my angle, it was a foul. Okay, I understand what you're saying to me, but it was a foul. Okay, make sense? And we're going to use a steps approach when it's appropriate. So all the observers that's here tonight, do you expect when you're watching a referee to use steps approach when it's appropriate? Anyone got their mic off and they want to just come in?
Yeah, Lee, I think I'd like to see him use stepped approach rather than go straight in with a card, depending on the challenge. But if it's a, you know, set the scene, little warning, little word of warning, then a more public warning. But obviously at each level, if the challenge or the offence deems it, then you caution. But where possible, if you use the match control.
Yeah, okay. And as an observer, that is something you're looking for in a game, and these are for careless challenges.
Yeah, because a careless challenge is if he or she does 2 or 3 in quick succession, then you're going to step up your match control and your process. But if it was a careless challenge in the 5th minute and one in the 38th minute, depends how that challenge is. You can only act on what's in front of you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. What's your name?
Steve.
Thanks, Steve. So as a little reminder for everyone then, Steve, hopefully that you said it so quick that they pick up on it then. So let's talk about stepped approach then. So it says there, as part of the FA Respect programme, you should use it where appropriate to managing players, because this session is about your match control. Okay, so what is the first stage then of the stepped approach? Put your answers in the chat. The first stage, and we're talking about careless challenges. Got some clarification there that Steve, that having both been assessed, they definitely know that you like using stepped approach. So the first, Nick, you're going to say we're going to explain a quiet word with just the offender, Paul. So when we talk about quiet word, does the game have to stop to have a quiet word? For those that are unmuted, please comment. Do we have to stop the game? No. Steve said no. Paul said no. Okay. Explain what was wrong, especially in youth football, so they understand. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So we're saying first part.
Lee, can I just say something there?
Yeah, of course. Is this Steve?
If you're doing it with the game in motion, so you're just running past the player, if you're being observed, make sure the observer can be seen that you're having a word. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, Steve, it does to me, definitely.
Mm.
So, Steve, if I can give an example for those that have not been through the promotion pathway, is the ball goes out, it's a goal kick, you're backpedaling into position, you come past the person that's doing the little tugs or the little careless, that's your chance that you can have the quiet word without having to stop the game. Agreed, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be like calm it down a little bit, you know, etc., whatever you're going to use is your quiet word. All right, because we're talking about match control. So you've had your quiet word, and that person has then done another careless challenge. What is the next stage of the stepped approach? In the chat room, please. So Dave, we're straight in with Dave. Make it public, okay? Depends on severity of foul, but probably more public words with defender. Paul, we're still on careless challenges. Yeah. But you've gone for a public word with the offender. Good. Word with player and captain when the game has stopped. Okay, Chris. Anyone else? You're still typing. A more public warning so other players know what's happened, and also stop further issues from other players. Okay. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to do the free kick with a quiet word. So we're going to get free kick this time. So the first one was just a quiet word, the running pass, calm it down. The second one is we can do the free kick, and it's a chance then to have another quiet word. And this is part of the stepped approach, okay? That player then does the next careless challenge. What is our number 3 in the stepped approach? And some of you have already gone into it, but as step 2. Okay, so don't have to type in again if you think, maybe that was the third one. So a more public warning to other players, knows what's happened, also stop further issues from other players. Steve, this is with a captain, public word with offender. And here's her captain. Okay, let's go into it then. So we're going to give a free kick with the public admonishment. This is the time referees should consider using the captain to emphasise the message. Okay, because we're on our third careless challenge now. And as we've said already, you've got someone like Steve who's observing you for just careless challenges. And myself as an observer, I would be expecting you to be going through this approach. Okay. Same player does another one. That's the next stage. Okay, so we've had the quiet word, we've done the free kick and a quiet word, we've done a public admonishment, and I've called the captain in as well. Okay, what's our next one? We're on our fourth careless challenge. Don't forget, what we're talking about tonight is about your match control. So we've gone for a caution, yellow cards, enough warnings, caution, use the arm to highlight the others so all can see, yes. So it looks like we're going down the caution route on our fourth careless challenge, yeah? And on the respect steps approach, that is what you would be expected to do. So it's not another warning, okay? It's not another quiet word. You will be expected, if you're being observed, to maintain match control you'll be expected now that that is the fourth challenge on the same player, that it's time now to start issuing a caution to keep your match control. Okay. So 10 minutes is gone in the game. Player does another one. What are you going to do? Judging on the offence, either a word with the player and captain or second yellow. Right, it's another careless challenge. Okay, as part of the steps approach, it's another careless challenge, Steve. A warning, remind him that a second caution is red. So we're still going for a warning, Elliot. Yeah, further warning. Remind him he's already been cautioned. Red, you have nowhere to go, otherwise the match control has gone out the window. Thank you, Charlotte. Is that your surname first, Charlotte? And then
yes.
Charlotte? Yeah, thank you. So let's put it in then. So the yellow card procedure, let's go number 4, yellow card procedure. So we're going to do isolate to neutral position after checking the safety of the player. Yeah, isolate to neutral position. You're going to do, and this is what we teach the learners. We're going to do number, name, time of the caution, the reason they're being cautioned, and a warning of further conduct. Yeah, that is the procedure. And the very last thing we do is we show them the yellow card. Okay, so you've gone through that process. They then do another careless challenge. This is the 5th one in the game. What you'd be expected to do under the stepped approach is another yellow, followed by a red. Okay, for your match control. So you're not restarting the whole process again with a warning, get the captains in, warn them of their conduct. You've done all that already for the first 4. Okay, you then got to do the second yellow. Anyone want to challenge on that? Let's have our observers comment on that. Would that be what you'd be expecting, Steve?
Yeah, but it depends on that, the one straight after the caution, the first caution, because it depends if he did it straight away and he hadn't taken the warning. You might think that's a second yellow red, but it's a very experienced view to do that normally after the first yellow, you'd give yourself that, right, the captain's definitely coming in, and use the man to your advantage.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Now, let's remember about stepped approach as well. It says that it does not negate the fact that the referee has the authority within the laws of the game to issue disciplinary sanctions without recourse to the captain or to revert directly to issuing a caution or a red card if the offence warrants such action. Okay, so what we've been talking about here is those careless challenges. If that first challenge is a red card challenge, you've got to do a red card for that game. Okay. All right, everyone. Just a little refresher on the stepped approach. So I'm going to show you a video. Tell me your thoughts. Okay, I'll show you a couple of times. Okay, coming in, thoughts. When we're talking about match control this evening, what's your thoughts on that? So Steve's gone for caution, a reckless challenge. I heard a few oohs. We always say if you get an ooh, if you said that as a referee, that gives you a good indication of the challenge. We've got reckless as well. Reckless, 3 reckless so far. Chris has gone straight for the red.
County funds.
Yeah.
Always thinking that.
Reckless, yellow at least, depending on what has happened earlier in the game. Okay. I'll go back to my PowerPoint whilst they're coming in. What else we got? We've got reckless. So Chris, are you the odd one out, or is no one else going to be brave enough to put their...
It looks like I am. Maybe I'm just harsh.
Anyone else want to, even if you say it, if you don't want to put it in the chat, if you just want to, if your mic's off. Nick, was there something after the clip? Skipped for me. No, there won't, Chris. Sorry, Nick, it was just that challenge you saw. Did anyone notice player reaction?
They weren't that bothered, were they?
No, not that bothered. Not that bothered at all. Okay. So if we're talking about match control on this session this evening, and that happens in your game, and you give, and this is just something to think about, and you give a yellow card for a caution, have you set your standard in the game that every challenge like that, all you're going to get is a caution? Okay. And that's something to think about when we talk about match control, because that happens again 5 minutes later. That player goes for revenge on that other player, and then they end up in a 22-man, that game ends up in a 22-player brawl. Okay. Have you, as a referee, when you self-reflect, gone, actually, I think I contributed to that because I gave a yellow card and told everyone on that pitch that is a yellow card offence only. Okay, it's just something to think about. I'm not saying give it yellow, I'm not saying give red. It's just something to think about when we talk about match control. Because I've been in games in my early days of refereeing, bearing in mind I played, and I was letting tackles like that go with yellow cards. And then my game in the second half ended up in I had to abandon the game because I've got players fighting. And I'm walking off and the manager says to me, if you would have got hold of this game earlier, that wouldn't have happened. And you know what? When I was driving home in my car, I thought, you've got a point. You have got a point now, because I said to everyone, that challenge is okay, just for a yellow card. Yeah, if that player lands and breaks their leg, and that's a leg breaking challenge, what's it, a yellow? Or am I going to give a red then because they broke their leg? Just something to think about, okay? So what I'd say, out of all the answers in there, if we're talking about being the person that's going to be unpopular, then Chris, that would have been you. All right.
I won't go and Lee, I wouldn't worry.
No, but what I'm saying to you though, Chris, I'm saying I've been reffing now for a few years is, do you know what? You might not have any more challenges in that game like that. Because do you know what? You've stepped up and gone, that is not acceptable. Does that make sense, everyone? It's just something to think about. Yeah, when we talk about match control, have you got control of that game? Because I would say to you, if you're letting tackles go like that in a game, you are not in control of that game. All right, just something to think about.
I think Steve's got his hand up, Lee, if you want to bring Steve in.
Yeah, go on, Steve.
Can I put the shoe on the other foot and say how many people, if they didn't caution that one, your match control can also go the other way?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't deal the first, say, reckless tackle in the game, if we deem it as reckless or deem it as, then if you didn't take the action, then your match control could go downhill as well.
Yeah, that's totally true, Stephen. I've been over the parks when I've not had a game. I'll go and watch a game, and I've seen the ref let tackles like that go, and just have a quiet word. Yeah.
And sometimes from experience, you might have one in the first 5 minutes, a caution.
Yeah.
But that might end up being your only caution in the game because you've told them that's where your level of control is, and they'll do no more.
Yeah, totally agree, Steve. Okay, let's move on. So we did that. So when we look at that challenge and we're talking about careless, reckless, excessive force, was that player out of control? Coming in at speed, looking to probably total disregard for that player's safety. Okay, yeah, all the players didn't do anything. They just got up and wanted to get on with the game. Yet you're going to go in there with a red card, and that might surprise everyone. Okay, because it's happened. Right, for those on the promotion pathways and some of the stuff we've been talking about tonight, these are the competencies that are laid down. Okay, so you're going 7 to 4. These are the competencies. So they expect you to demonstrate an empathy with the game by communicating with the players and taking account their skill levels. Okay, and we spoke earlier about communicating and empathy for the game. Okay, when we talk about their skill level is on those careless challenges is, I think what Steve alluded to earlier is, are we really going to go in with the stepped approach every single time if we don't take their skill levels into account? Okay, so it's something to take into account the level of football you're doing. Okay. Effective preventative solutions before the problem escalates using such measures as proactive communication or involvement of the captains in line with the respect programme. So when I said at the beginning of the game, before we've even kicked a ball, you're saying to those captains, please remember the sin bin procedure is in place today. Okay, if you're going to challenge me in a respectful manner, because that is effective preventative solutions. Okay. Conduct admonishments, cautions and dismissals assertively, achieving the desired effect by being calm, courteous and confident. Manage dissent by players or team officials such that it does not undermine your match control. And where did we do that? At the beginning, we went over, introduced ourselves to the managers and assistants, and we reminded them of the technical area protocol. Okay, and you've asked them to work with you. So if you do have to go over there and speak to them, It's not the very first time you've ever spoke to them. And you can remind them, I said at the beginning, I asked if you could work with me. By you shouting at me on every decision I'm giving is not working with me. Okay? Approach players calmly and deal with them assertively, demonstrating a positive attitude and body language. And you take opportunities to assert their authority at key points of the match. For example, the first reckless challenge receives a caution. Okay, so that challenge that we saw in that video, if that is the first challenge in the match, what are you going to do? You're going to have a quiet word, you're going to go for a caution, or you're going to go for a red. Okay, because in the competencies, it's telling you there to take an opportunity to assert your authority. Okay. So let's summarise everything we've done this evening. So if you had to put 5 words that begin with C, okay, into everything we've done this evening, what would those 5 C's be on your match control as a referee? You put them in the chat for me, please. Right, let's go through them, okay? So these are mine, okay? And what I do, if I see a good C word, when I'm always doing this training, I sometimes nick it and put it in mine because I prefer it. I've missed out my thought, caution because cheeky chappy. So my first one, and we all said it at the very beginning of this evening, that for match control, we need to be communicating. Yeah, we need to be communicating throughout the game. No one put consistency. How many times do we hear this word from the players, from the managers, about our performance and what we're not being? We're not being consistent. Okay, so if we go back to that clip, if you give a red card for that clip, okay, and then the next person that does it, you give a red card, you're being consistent. If you give a yellow card, you give the next one a yellow card, you're being consistent. Because if you're not consistent, they will remind you that you're not being consistent. Okay, so it's definitely one for me. And I think that's a big one. You've got to be courageous in your decisions. And as we saw earlier on the clip, Chris was courageous in his decision because he went against everyone. For him, that was a red card. He was being courageous, okay? Whereas some of us might have not gone, well, we'll just give a yellow for that. Although I did hear a few oohs when you watch that clip. Yeah. So be courageous. Be courteous. And it's something we teach on our tutor courses to everybody is be the most polite person out there. Over here, please. If you can come over here, thank you very much. Can you take your throw from there? Thank you. We are the most courteous people on that pitch, the referee. The please and thank yous goes a long way. And when that player's ranting at you, and you can say, look, I've been nothing but courteous, I've asked you to come over here politely, what can they say to you? Okay, and the last one, be calm. Everyone that's had a row with someone, the person that you're rowing with, if they're the person remaining calm, how frustrating is that? That they're remaining calm, yet you're up there, you're so emotive. Yet the referee, a calm referee, can bring it right down. Okay. Any questions on what we've done? Anyone want to come in with anything? I'll see you put collaborating there, David. Thank you.
Yeah, I suppose from my perspective, because now I only line, it will be very much around the collaboration with the match referee, because there are times when it is his decision only, or his or her decision only, and you know the flag that may or may not come in because it adds value will only be there to support the referee, and therefore you're collaborating with him.
Right. Okay. Thank you, David. So it's some food for thought. Referee is all about angles and opinions, because it is. Okay? Everyone has got an opinion in football about the decisions you're giving or something's happened in that game. It's something that we have to accept. Okay? But a lot of the time, on the decisions we're giving, if we're getting the right angles, that's what we're talking about. Angles and opinions. Okay? And this one for me, I really like this, and I heard this a couple of years ago, and it's always stuck with me. So when I go and watch games and I've seen players getting cautions for saying to the ref, oh, you're useless, and yet in games, those tackles you saw earlier on that clip are going unpunished. That's why I like that, because I don't see enough referees managing the technical and punishing the physical, because why has that got to be a leg breaking challenge for you to let them get away with it? You're quite happy to send someone off for telling you you're useless, and they're throwing their arms about and they might swear at you again. You go, that's it, there's your red card. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well,
Also, the clubs expect you to manage the technical, like kicking the ball away, or be proactive so it doesn't happen. I don't mean to say ignore it, but be more proactive on those type of things.
Yeah.
Don't let the kicking the ball away happen to be a caution.
Yeah.
Punish the reckless tackles.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can manage the technical stuff, okay, do it. But you've got to be punishing the physical. You've got to do your match control. Okay. Does anyone want to come in with anything?
It's worth saying on the technical stuff, going back to the kicking the ball away, yeah, go in and manage the first one. But if he does it again, you've set him up, you've made it really crystal clear he isn't to be doing this. Make it clear when you go in there. Whoa, get your head in the game, guys. You know, don't be stupid. I don't want to have to caution you for this. Goes and does it again 5 minutes later. Thanks very much. Now's your time for your yellow card. You've set him up and given him that opportunity to pick up a yellow card in his process, but you've given him the chance. You've tried to manage it. They've not taken the warning to hand. Okay, guess what? We're going to have to do this way. To me, that's the right way.
Yeah, and on the leagues that I ref around our area, I know sin bins is in everywhere now. We can sin bin for kicking the ball away, throwing the ball down. It used to be that you're delaying the restart, but you can do the sin bins for those offences as well now. Okay. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'm happy to answer any questions on anything we've done. I hope you got something out there. So back to you, Chris.
Okay, we'll just say, Lee, thanks very much for tonight's session. Obviously, I think hopefully everyone's found that useful. Next week on the Midweek Matchday Live, we have Tony Dean, who's going to be doing an update on laws of the game. So we look forward to that one with Tony.